We know the Chinese respect power, but will this set them on their heels and sort of embarrass them where they back off, or will they sort of appreciate that show of strength, if you will, from Trump?
Well, the first point I want to make is the president makes up his own mind. He usually doesn't listen to his people. He has a strategy. That's number one. Number two, I think the Chinese, they respect power. They know what the president is up to. And the Chinese, you know, they haven't made their major move in retaliation yet. I think the president needs a big victory here, especially in foreign policy. And he can get it by just having a path to a negotiated settlement, maybe down the road. So I think he's going to be opting for that triumph. And I'm positive about the final outcome at this dinner. That's it. Having Navarro there, yeah, all right, it'll irritate the Chinese a bit. But, you know, he's also got his trade negotiator. He's got some of his foreign policy people there. So, you know, this is gamesmanship. But in the end, he decides. He doesn't listen to anybody. I think we found that out.
Would the path forward really be regarded as a victory? I mean, in the markets, it would be regarded as a victory, but to Trump's base, it may not be regarded as a victory if he doesn't look or tough walking away, and it doesn't look like he's really making some progress when it comes to the core issue.
Right, of intellectual property theft.
Right, exactly.
State enterprises being deeply involved in businesses, stealing of, you know, companies' products here and et cetera. Yes, you could have a short-term, quote-unquote, victory, some kind of path to a negotiated settlement. But ultimately, there's a lot of people within the cabinet who would be upset if they don't get to all these core issues that we've just talked about.
Let's shift a little bit north, Michelle. We got, let's not forget, new president taking over in Mexico. Tomorrow, AMLO, as he is known.
Yes.
A lot of concern. Markets have not been good. What's your take?
Andrés Manuel López Obrador, you can call him AMLO. He ran as a centrist because when he ran as a hard leftist, he lost because the person who ran against him said, if you vote for him, you'll end up like Venezuela. So this time around, he was far more centrist.
His message was centrist. Is he more centrist?
No, since he's been elected, and it's one of the longest transition periods in the world, like 5 months, he has articulated things that are just classic leftist positions, right? And he's done things. And there's capital flight out of Mexico. People are worried. It's why you see the peso weakening. It's why Mexican bonds are doing very, very poorly. And we should be very concerned about that. You don't want a deteriorating economy on the southern border. And if you're worried about immigration issues now, what drives immigration issues? Weak economies. Why do we see so many Central Americans coming? Because of the weak economy there. If Mexico takes a big step backwards, you just have another larger problem at the border.
All
well,
right.
I beg to differ with Michelle here. I think this guy is pragmatic. He's run for president 3 times. He's finally won. He has a sensible immigration approach, which is basically, I want to develop economic development zones in Central America at the border so that immigrants don't leave Mexico, don't leave Central America. An economic solution. No Mexican president has ever done that. Yes, I think Michelle's right. You know, he sent bad signals to the market. But I think a pragmatic president is going to show up. The fact that he left the NAFTA negotiations, NAFTA 2, to his predecessor, Peña Nieto. Now there's an agreement, which is good for Canada, good for us, good for Mexico. He stayed away from it. Now it has to pass the U.S. Congress. You know, I think he knows that he recognizes he needs the United States. He needs U.S. investment.